everyone, Fed here, and welcome back to another redstone tutorial. In today's video, I'll be showing you guys how to build a simple industrial furnace or automatic furnace system inside your Minecraft world. Now, this is another Mumbo design. I did his chest one not too long ago because he had a video on what if you could move chests inside of Minecraft, and there was 4 creations in it, and these were the 2 that I wanted to do tutorials on. Now, I changed mine up a little bit just so you can easily access the furnaces in case you want the experience instead, because if you flip down this lever, it will not funnel the items down, and you can collect all the experience from your furnaces. Now, this thing is super easy to build. It's very compact, and I highly recommend using blast furnaces and smokers for this thing. I have another 2 over there with just blast furnaces and smokers. But let's go ahead and see how this thing works. So let's just take out a stack of iron and drop it inside this chest right here. And then what's going to happen is this is a piston tape, so it's going to funnel the items in, and the piston tape is now going to start going around in a circle with our furnaces. And as you see, all our furnaces are smelting our ore. I'm trying to stay inside the furnace, but since the piston tape is moving, it's not allowing me to do it. And then once it's done smelting, it will start funneling the items down inside our chest right here. And then, of course, if I flip down this lever, it will stop the items from funneling into our chest, and then you can collect the experience from the furnaces if you so choose. But now I'm just going to speed up the video here because it's just going to take a little bit for this to get done, because it is furnaces. I highly recommend using blast furnaces and smokers because it will smelt or cook your items a lot quicker than regular furnaces. And guys, the amount of resources it takes to build this thing is super cheap, so you can actually use those resources to make your blast furnaces instead. And I don't know why I just did that. Alright guys, and I'm back, and inside of my furnaces, well, not inside my furnace, inside my chest right here, as you can see, we have a stack of 64 iron. Now, this thing, like I said, very cheap and very easy to build. Now, there's just one drawback with this, and we'll get into it in a second, but here is all of the redstone. Yep, that is it. We are using 24 furnaces. You got to remember, guys, when you build industrial furnaces, you tend to have to use at least one, well, you have to tend to use 2 to 3 hoppers on every single furnace. So there's a total of 24 furnaces here, and we're only using 8 hoppers. You're only using 8 hoppers, so if you were to build a regular industrial furnace, which is just a line with a bunch of hoppers going into it, you would need around 48 hoppers to make it work. So 8 hoppers, 48 hoppers. That's why I'm saying you're going to have a lot of extra iron to build blast furnaces instead of normal furnaces. Now, the only drawback to this is it's an industrial one, so you're going to have to be using a lot of items. If you just chuck one item in here, it will not make it down here to funnel inside this chest. So, you know, I'll just show you real quick. If we just take out, let's say, 1 iron, put it in here, like that, as you see, it will stop it. Because what's happening is the items going into it are starting up a hopper clock back here, which will in turn turn off the entire creation once everything is done smelting. But, I mean, you could also just open up this door right here and then take the item out like that. And that's just in case you need to just smelt 1 item. But if you need to just smelt 1 item, I wouldn't put it into your industrial furnace. But if you just keep chucking items in here over and over again, eventually it will all funnel down into the chest anyway. So the bare minimum recommended limit, I would say, I've done a couple of testing, is around 35 to 40 items. So as long as you're throwing 35 to 40 items in, they should all funnel inside of this chest. And then, of course, if you want the experience, then it really just doesn't matter, because you could just lock this right here and then just let it go, run its course, and then take the items out later and get the experience. And once more, since you are saving a lot of resources, well, a lot of iron on not building all those hoppers, I recommend taking that iron and making blast furnaces. And then, of course, you can just make a smoker one next to it, because, guys, like I said, this thing is super cheap. This is very cheap for 24 blast furnaces or 24 smokers. It's extremely cheap to build this thing. So let's go ahead and start building it. Alright guys, so for this build you're going to need a 16 by 4 spacing, and you're also going to have enough room to dig down 1 in a couple of areas, so it doesn't take up much space at all. Now, the resources you will need for this build, and this is the exact resources you need for this entire thing, you're going to need 2 sticky pistons, 4 pistons, 1 observer block, 8 hoppers, 2 redstone comparators, 2 redstone repeaters, 7 redstone torches, 17 redstone, 2 levers, 24 furnaces, blast furnaces, or smokers. I highly recommend doing the blast furnaces and smokers because they just cook things a lot quicker than furnaces. We're also going to need 8 chests, 2 doors. Now, if you're not going to be planning on, getting experience from this thing, you do not need the doors. And you're also going to need 5 stacks of items. This is for your hopper clock. Now, if you're going to be doing furnaces, you need 5 stacks. You need 5 stacks of items if you're going to be doing furnaces. If you're going to be doing blast furnaces or smokers, you'll only need 1 stack of 64 items because they cook things way quicker than furnaces do. And then, of course, we're just going to need some blocks of choice to put our redstone down on and some blocks in the front. So once you have the spacing where you want to build this thing and you've gathered up all your resources, we're going to come to the bottom left hand corner. We're going to count over 1 and then up 1 and place a piston facing up. Next up, place a block to the top right corner of this piston with a redstone torch off the side of it. That will extend your piston. Next up, you're going to take out your furnaces and go that way 12 furnaces. So right off the top of the piston, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and of course you can change them out to smokers or blast furnaces. And then right off the side of the piston, we're going to place in 12 more furnaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Then going off the top furnace right here, we're going to place a block, place a piston facing down. Then right next to this furnace, we're going to place a piston facing in towards it, like that. And then on this side, we're going to place another piston facing in towards this one right here, right above that extended piston. And there's going to be our entire tape line. Next up, we're going to swing to the backhand side, and where we have this redstone torch, we're going to come up a block off the top of it with a redstone torch off the side of that block and a block on top of that one. Next up, place a piece of redstone next to this block right here with our redstone torch on it. Then we're going to come up a block and then over 3, 1, 2, 3, and then down a block like that, placing redstone along all of these blocks. Next, we're going to come down 1 more with redstone. Then we're going to come up 3 blocks, 1, 2, 3, next to that piston, placing 2 pieces of redstone here and a redstone torch off the side. Next up, place a block right above this redstone torch. I recommend using a block of choice in case you want to walk across the top of it, and place it right on top. It will make this piston extend down. Then right underneath this redstone torch, we're going to place in a block with a piece of redstone. Place a redstone torch off the side of it like this. The redstone torch will go off. Place in 1, and then before we place in this piece of redstone here, we're going to place a block right next to this piston. Place a piece of redstone here, and then a block underneath the piston. The reason why we need that is just to cut off the redstone. Next up, come to this side of the block, placing in yet again another redstone torch. It should go off. Break these 3 blocks right here, 1, 2, and 3. Place 2 pieces of redstone right down here with a repeater going into that block on 1 tick delay. It should end up right into this block that has the redstone right there. And that's going to be your entire piston tape line completely done. So now we can go ahead and test it out to make sure everything is working. So just take out your 1 observer block, and right off of any part of this redstone right here, it doesn't matter, we're going to place a block up, place an observer block facing in towards it, and then go ahead and just update the back of it right here, and that should make your piston line start, well, your piston tape start going around in a circle. So now that we know everything is working right here, let's go ahead and turn it off. So just place a block right here between these 2, like that, and that will cut it off. And now we can go ahead and remove our observer block first, and then everything else. And now it's time to place in all of our hoppers. So go ahead and take out your hoppers, and right off the top of this furnace, next to this extended piston, we're going to place a hopper facing down. This is where our items are going to be funneling in, like our iron or kelp or whatever you're going to be putting in here. And we're going to place a double chest right above it. Then right off the side of our extended piston, we're going to take out our hoppers once again and place a hopper going into the side of it. Make sure that little notch is going right into the side of it. Come up 1 more hopper right here, and go ahead and place in your double chest here as well. And then we're going to swing right down here, and where you see these 2 blocks up here that are going up in that little arch motion right here, we're going to place a chest all the way to the right. This is going to be the exact center of this entire build. I mean, you could place it, honestly, you could place it in a couple of places here. I just wanted the chest right in the middle so it looked nice and clean after you get done building the entire thing. Then right behind it, we're going to dig out just a couple of blocks, take out our hoppers, and we're going to place 3 hoppers going into the back of this chest. So 1 right here going into the back of it, 2, and then 3. Your hoppers should line up perfectly with this little back arch area. 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to go ahead and put in our lockout switch. So you know what? Let's go ahead and change the color up real quick. So to place in your lockout switch so you can gather up the experience instead of letting it funnel into the chest, all you have to do is just place a block right here, here, and then a piece of redstone right in the middle. Then we're going to swing to the front hand side, place a repeater going into the block that has our redstone on it right here, piece of redstone, take out your blocks of choice, you will be able to see it. Place it right next to that chest. And then what we're going to do is place a lever off of this chest, and that will let us lock it out. And what this will do is lock all these hoppers back here, so none of the items can funnel into it. And then you can go inside your furnaces or your smokers or your blast furnaces and gather up the experience instead of letting all the items funnel into your chest. But we're just going to make sure that leave that up for now. And then we can go ahead and, clean this little area up right here. So that's going to be all of our hoppers. And, well, not all of our hoppers, but that's going to be all of our chests done. Next up, we're going to swing back over here to where our item chest is. And we're going to place a comparator coming out of it right on top of this block, which should have your redstone torch above it. Next up, we're going to place a block in front of that comparator with a redstone torch off the side. And now we're going to make a hopper clock right down here. So place a block right underneath that redstone torch with a hopper going into the back of the block. Break the block, crouch, and place another hopper going into this hopper off the front hand side. And as you can see, both hoppers are going into each other. Next up, now, if this is crucial, this is crucial. If you're using furnaces, if you are using furnaces right now, you have to fill up this back hopper with 5 stacks of items. Now, if you're using a blast furnace or a smoker, you only need to fill them up with 1 stack of items. As you see, I only have 1 stack of dirt in here. And for my blast furnace one right here, I only have 1 stack of cobblestone. So if you're using furnaces, fill it up with 5 stacks. If you're using blast furnaces or smokers, fill it up with only 1 stack, because those cook things way faster than a furnace ever could. So let's just swing back over here to the hopper clock, and coming out the back one right here that has no items in it, it should be right underneath your block with your redstone torch. We're going to come out a block from it, and then we're going to come up a block underneath that and place a comparator coming out of that block. Next up, you're going to place a block in front of this redstone comparator, like that. Place a redstone torch off the top of it, and then we're going to place a sticky piston facing down off this redstone torch right here in this middle. So we're going to place our sticky piston facing down right off that redstone torch like that. Should extend down, and then place a block right in front of it. And when we were testing out the piston tape before, remember I told you if we place a block here, it'll cut everything off. Well, that's how it's going to turn it off once everything is done smelting. Then coming out of the block that has our redstone torch on it, right here, we're going to place another sticky piston. Go ahead and take out your observer block now. And we're going to place a observer block facing right off the front of it. And then we're going to come out a block and place a block right in front of it like that. And that's going to activate the entire thing. Oh, that's right. Sorry. The reason why we needed 2 levers, I completely forgot about this. We need to cut this redstone off. This redstone cannot be a bead of redstone. So right here, just place a lever, don't touch it. Or you could put a button here as well. You don't need to use a lever, but just make sure you're redirecting that redstone right there. The reason why we have to do that is because later on, we have to put a door right here to hide up this area. And that's only in case you're going to be using this thing for experience. You know, if you're never going to be using this for experience, then you really don't need to worry about putting that lever there. But don't flip it down. Just always have it up like that, just to redirect this redstone right here. But that is it, guys. You are completely done. Now, I already did it. I already skipped past this part, but what I like to do is also go inside all my furnaces and just place 1 or 2 pieces of coal. It doesn't really matter. This is just for the startup. Because once it starts moving around in a circle, the coal inside of these chests that we're going to place in, which I already placed in as well, you can go ahead and place in all your fuel right here and then fill it up as much as you want. It's completely up to you. And you can also, if you want to, make a bamboo or dry kelp farm to bring items down here and then never have to worry about fueling this thing ever. But for the initial startup, I like just putting a couple pieces of coal inside of all of my furnaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. It really doesn't matter. Just fill it up with at least 1 piece of coal. And then fill in this chest with as much coal as you possibly want. Or use whatever you want to fuel this thing. It's completely up to you. But once you do that, then we can go ahead and use it because it's done. Everything is done. This thing is completely done. So now if we just take out, let's say, a stack of iron like this, and we place it inside this chest right here. There we go. It will start going around in our tape line, and it will activate all of our furnaces. And then all of our items will funnel. You know what? Let's go ahead and not funnel any of the items right now. I'm going to lock this right here so none of the items funnel. So I could show you how you get all the experience as well. And then we also have to clean up the area as well. So you know what? While this thing's running its course, I guess we can go ahead and clean up the area. So I'm going to just bring my blocks up here. We're going to go up right there with our blocks. Bring this going all the way down to the end. Make sure you always skip this piston right here because that's where our doors are going to be going. So there we go. And now all I have to do is just get out my spruce doors. And then place your spruce door backwards right here. Like that. And place another spruce door backwards right here. Like that. There we go. So these things should be done soon. And it's ending right now. There we go. So I didn't have any of the items funnel inside my chest because I want to collect the experience this time. So what you do is just open up these 2 doors now if you want to collect the experience, just to get to these furnaces that are in here, and then go through your furnaces and collect all your experience. And like I said, I highly recommend using blast furnaces and smokers because you can cook things way faster with those things. But I'm just gonna slowly go through my, I don't need to do this. You get the gist of how this is work. I don't have to go through all my furnaces and collect all the experience, especially on creative where none of this even matters. Also, if you built it with the furnaces and later on down the line you want to change it to blast furnaces because you just don't have enough iron right now, which if you're building this thing, I hope you have a ton of iron. Because I really wouldn't want to build one of these if I didn't. But if you decide you want to change any of them out to blast furnaces or smokers later, you just have to break them. Nothing will happen if you break them. See, I can go like this, break the entire line. It won't break any of my redstone. It will obviously get rid of all my coal that's inside my furnaces, I guess. But we're gonna just go down the line. Let me go ahead and collect all this, or it's gonna annoy me. There we go. You just gotta break them and replace them. So let's go ahead and just put our blast furnaces in. There we go. Just like that. All the way down to the end. And all the way down to the end here as well. And then, of course, you're going to have to re-put your fuel back in there as well. But there you guys have it. That's how you build a very simple automatic furnace system or industrial furnace system, whatever you like to call it, inside of Minecraft. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and stay tuned with my newest videos. All right, guys. Peace.